It's the most incredible feeling to be here. This is live.
Live?
WildEarth takes you on daily intimate experiences in nature live.
This is a very, very different adventure, charged with emotion.
Join expert guides as they search for Africa's most iconic animals.
How awesome is this? She's coming right past our vehicle. Take a closer look here.
Oh, careful, careful, careful. Oh, no.
Ask your host questions and have them answered in real time. Join us live every day on WildEarth. This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
It is hot down here in the Sabi sands, and we have this wonderful elephant bull chomping about. Hi everyone, welcome aboard for your live safari through the African bush. Good afternoon. Our elephant bull here is a little bit camera shy. Every time we move around, he does too. He's trying to avoid us, I think. Hi everybody, it's me. My name is Trishal and I've got BK on camera this very warm afternoon in Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi sands. It's about 31 degrees Celsius, 87 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's why elephants are a great animal to look for, because predators at this time are going to be very, very flat in a nice spot of shade, but elephants will be moving about and at the water holes, which would be awesome. In fact, that's where I'm going to go to after this. Now, do remember, this is your safari. It's happening live across several locations in Africa. So use that hashtag WildEarth to chat to us, ask us your questions, give us your comments. We would love to hear from you. We can discuss all sorts of things. Our lovely bull here is not very large, but he's on his own, just enjoying the nice green grass that has come up after our good rains. In fact, we should be expecting a little more rain in the next week also. You can see that he's busy fanning his ears as well to try and create a current over the back of the ears where there's quite a lot of arteries. In fact, whole networks of arteries, veins, capillaries that he can cool a lot of his blood with. In fact, he can cool or rotate all of the blood in his body through his ears in 20 minutes. So all that time, the blood that's coming into contact with those thin parts of the ear are getting cooled and then flowing around the body to cool him down. Tyler, you'd like to know how many teeth does an elephant have? In its lifetime, it will have 28 teeth. Now that comes from 2 tusks that you can see here. But before there's tusks, there's 2 milk tusks, shall we say. They're called tushes. So there's your 4. And then it cycles through 6 times 4 molars in the mouth, but those keep moving through. So there'll be 1 in each quadrant of the mouth, and the other ones come through as those ones wear down. So it's kind of like on a conveyor belt from the back of the jaw to the front. It pushes, as opposed to our teeth that erupt from the bottom of the gum up to push out the tooth. So theirs go on a conveyor belt kind of motion from the back of the jaw pushing forward. And those other teeth will come out as soon as the first set is worn down. And with all the chewing and eating that they do, those teeth can be worn down quite quickly. And they're huge, almost the size of a brick. Well, I'm going to let this guy go, and I'm going to head down south towards a waterhole, and hopefully we'll be lucky with more elephants.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a big welcome to the Masai Mara of Kenya. We have big bird of prey called the martial eagle. I like to call it the leopard of the sky. My name is Tim, and behind camera we have Big James. Now, this young martial eagle is now fully independent. He's left the nest, so the parents are not with him or her. Look at how he's perched on that tree. There's a time when they want to hunt for food. I've seen these big eagles going for Thompson gazelles, even a fully grown jackal. I've seen them fighting a very fearsome looking jackal, but they didn't win, but got away with what they were eating. The martial eagle is the apex bird of prey, and sometimes they walk or fly off very long distances. There's one that was collared around the Mara. Miley, thank you so much for your question. What is the bird's wingspan? This bird has a wingspan of about almost 2 meters. So a fully grown martial eagle, the wingspan can be about 2 meters. This is still a juvenile. That's why you see it's a little bit spotted. But when they age, the adults tend to have a black face. Look at the tunnel. Look at how big that bill is. When I talk about the apex bird of prey, it means that this bird is the one that is in control. No other raptor can actually come and overtake it because of how they prey, how big their prey comes in. We have tawny eagles sometimes that mob this bird to fight him off, but they're very strong birds. As I wait here and watch this bird for its next move, let's take you over to another safari vehicle. Jambo everyone, welcome to another part of the Masai Mara, and it looks beautiful. As you can see, the setting is just perfect. We haven't paraded those guides there to welcome you, but it's just a natural setting that they're in. They have decided to be in the position they're in, and I have just to appreciate and share it with you. Jambo everyone, my name is Isaac, and on camera we have Bungei. Welcome to Masai Mara for another live safari. I'm just here with this beautiful neck of giraffe that have just come out of that bush. I think they were enjoying one of the croton bushes. It's called the orange-leafed croton, and I think it's super delicious for these tall ones because they love it and they're always eating it. It's got a sort of orange leaf when it dries up that drops after it gets orange, and before that, that's when the giraffes eat it. These guys looks like they're ruminating, which means they've been filling their large intestines, and now it's time to chew the cud, regurgitate it, and properly utilize it. This is an animal that is found everywhere in the Masai Mara, but it is facing a lot of threats. One of them is habitat loss. The other one is bushmeat poaching, and also it's been killed by predators like lions and hyenas, young ones. Surprisingly, in the last few years, we have seen a very good increase in this super animal, and today I have counted about 9 young ones. I haven't seen any on live TV, but I will be sharing one of them with you quite soon. Yes, like I said, there's quite a good number. I haven't shared any, but definitely we will be sharing, the little young ones with you. Today I've counted 3 very new ones. I will be showing them to you maybe later on when I get to where they are. The reason they are here, it's because there is abundant food for them, and that's why they are doing really, really well. This is an animal that has got very few threats if it's left alone, apart from huge prides of lions or a huge clan of hyena. Otherwise, nobody actually goes for them. Amazingly, their eyesight is amazing, so they can see quite a distance, and usually they detect predators long before they get to them, and they get away. Other animals usually use them to actually detect danger. Remember to talk to me or talk to us, all my colleagues, on #WildEarth. Questions and comments are very, very welcome. Total weight of a fully grown giraffe is around 1,700 kilos. That is almost the weight of this Land Rover that I'm driving. And females almost 1,400 kilos. And although they're that heavy, they catch top speeds of up to 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. For defense, these guys actually are very dangerous. They can run at top speeds and also kick at the same time with their fore and hindquarters. This is an animal with the highest blood pressure of all animals, capable of actually shooting its blood all the way to the head. That is an adaptability because it's got a very big heart that is able to pump that blood all the way up. And at the same time, it's got also another very interesting adaptation on its legs. As you can see, usually they have a very tight skin on their legs, and that is to stop the blood from flowing too fast downwards.
Good afternoon and welcome to this end of the sunset safari, although of course the sun isn't setting just yet. My name is James Henry. On camera today is Paul. And we're looking at a tree because we have not managed to find any mammals, reptiles, birds or any other kind of animal life, and so we are going to look at this tree. This tree is rather magnificently named the Splendid Thorn, or Vachellia robusta. And what is interesting about it is that the elephants have been eating on the ends of the branches. Now, I suppose to the uninitiated, it might not be immediately apparent what had been eating this tree. But if you look carefully at it, you can see that what's happened is the elephant has walked in here and put its mouth right around the branch here and just chewed a piece of it off. So it hasn't broken it off, it's just chewed off the end of the branch. Now, the only other large browsing creature that you'd find out here would be a black rhino, although it would be extremely unusual. And if a black rhino had been supping on the same thing, there'd be a neat, clean break at 45 degrees. Whereas this elephant has just kind of masticated the end of the tree. I enjoy that word, masticate. It gives a real solid feeling of good chewing. So that is the splendid thorn of Vachellia robusta that has been, well, savaged by an elephant, really. It's been pushed over, torn apart and masticated. Priscilla, no, this is most certainly not the only thorn tree we have at Djuma. There are lots and lots of different kinds of thorn trees. There are various kinds of Vachellia, 5 or 6, various kinds of Senegalia, 2 or 3, a number of gymnosporia trees. We've got buffalo thorn trees. I would say that there are at least 25 species of thorny tree here at Djuma. So, no, by no means. And in fact, this is one of the less common ones because it lives only very near rivers. It needs quite a lot of water. And quite a lot of water is not something that Djuma has a lot of places with. Right, and Paul, I know that this tree has captivated your attention to the extent that you never want to leave it, but now we must leave it and carry on to see what else we can find. Off we go.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to andBeyond Ngala. We are currently with the Ngala female. Sean managed to find her this morning, and she has dragged an impala carcass up into a marula. So you can see the way she's panting. She's just eaten and come down the tree just as we approached. So yeah, today you are with me, Rowan, and Odie behind the camera. Hello. And I think her cub should be around here somewhere as well. So there's quite a bit still left on the impala carcass. So they'll still be here for the rest of the night. It's just usually what happens here is the cub isn't too relaxed with the vehicle just yet. So I think maybe as it heard us driving on to her or to this area, it might have climbed down as well. See, luckily Mom came down and just decided to lie right down next to the tree. She looks very tired. So not the best shady spot. Today is very hot. I think when I left my room it was about 30 degrees. But she's looking gorgeous. So the first time I've seen her in a few months. She gave us a bit of a snarl as we started coming into this area. I don't think she's seen too many cars in the past couple of days either. We haven't been able to off-road with the amount of rain we had. So this afternoon is the first time we can actually go off-road again and get closer to the animals. She's starting to relax now. Even with me speaking with the vehicle, she's not even looking at us anymore, closing her eyes. But very, very, very full-bellied. It just is such a beautiful creature. always blows my mind how they look so clean, you know, spending their entire lives out here in the wild, dust, mud, everything, and a leopard just remains so clean. Funny, there are no vultures in this area, also no hyenas, so I don't think her carcass has been spotted yet. Lucky girl. I was saying to Owen as we were driving here, I was wondering whether she'd be up the tree or at the base, because there's no shade in that tree either, so I think it's very, very hot when she goes up and feeds. Probably spend the majority of the night feeding on that. So yeah, we're gonna sit here for a while, I think, see if maybe the cub comes out, comes towards us, come towards mom. So we'll just spend a bit of time with the Ngala female.
Seems like it's a very catty afternoon, and a very lazy catty afternoon. Finally we get to get a bit of a view on mother and two. They were in a very terrible spot yesterday where we couldn't get any picture across to you folks. A very warm welcome. Good afternoon to everybody. My name is Carl, and behind camera making this all look great is Mr. Glenn. Give us a thumbs up there, Glenn. Good afternoon. Welcome everybody. It's so fantastic that we can have a great view of these flat cats right now. Just resting under a nice big camel thorn, taking it easy. It's about 3 or 4 degrees cooler in the shade right now, so perfect spot for a little cat nap. So mom is the one in the middle, and then her 2 offspring on the left and right of her. Very content after that meal they had. I'm not getting audio. So everybody just taking it very easy. And that's all good for a Friday afternoon. From this morning, it seems like we're keeping on that train. When you're guiding guests and when you're guiding in general, when you're on a roll, you want to keep it going. You don't want to lose steam. And today is definitely a day where it is continuing. Ooh, folks, focus carefully. Watch on ahead. You can see all the cattle louse flies walking in and amongst her fur.
Cheetahs lying flat, sometimes they can be super fast, they can be on the move like this lion here, who looks like she is stalking some wildebeest. The wildebeest are not far from her. We've been tracking her or following her for a bit. Now look at the gap she's placed between herself and this wildebeest. They are not even aware that she's there. The problem is the wind direction is not good. I don't know how she'll get too good with that direction, but most of them, see, they're a little bit sensing that there's a lioness or maybe a predator around, because they stop grazing and then look at our direction. But from where we are, she is advancing and closing the gap. You can't really tell if there's a lioness because of the grass and because of how they blend in so well. This morning they tried to hunt but failed. So there were 3 sisters from the Ololo Pride, one with a collar and another one that is pale, a little bit pale, and this lioness that is advancing towards the wildebeest. Most of them seem relaxed, they're grazing, unaware of the lion's presence. Not sure if this will be another failed attempt or they will be successful. So if it gets to be successful, then I'll be happy for these lions. makes a move, she has to make sure that she is concealed and none of these wildebeest will see her, because the moment one detects or sees her, she will lose it. Most of the time you find that they get too close. Like this morning we were watching one of the lionesses who got too close to the wildebeest, and we thought it was going to be successful. Unfortunately, one of them spooked them, and that's how they failed. We reckon that about five attempts, one can be successful. You can see the distance is not far. The gap between where the lioness is hiding and the wildebeest is about, I would say, 20-25 meters. So that is a good range for a lioness that is sprinting full blast, because most of them are unaware, and because they're in a big herd, there's more chances of her being successful. But sometimes it comes to a failed attempt because either there might be marshy, it might be rough, and so on.
Well, from wildebeest and lionesses to the beautiful and the biggest African elephant. Here they are eating some very fresh grass. Even looking at it, you'd imagine how it tastes, and you can tell they are really enjoying it. It's just cooling down, but they're still flapping their ears, and that is a cooling mechanism that they have to fan the air in between their ears and their body to cool down. Apart from that, they also try and stay in the shade and also add another layer of mud. Like you can see just above the eye there, he had splashed a lot of mud on that section. Maybe he was getting too much sunburn, and so she put lots of Rachi, Jambo, and good afternoon. Actually, over here, I would say they can never go without drinking water, because there is plenty of water. In places where the scarcity of food, they have been known to go for at least 24 to 48 hours without drinking. But it's an animal that is water dependent. So if there is availability of water, it will drink every day. And actually it thrives and does well where there is water. Areas where there isn't water, you don't find very big herds. You actually find sometimes very small breeding herds and big bulls that can find water, and it's only enough for themselves. But it's an animal that needs water every day because of its poor digestive system that needs watering every day. Here in the Mara, they can eat plenty of grass that has got lots of water and brush, and just drink very little. That is a very big calf to be drinking, but you can tell the mom has allowed him to drink. Yes, that is how elephants drink. Don't be told, you are witnessing it. That is how they do it. They fold their trunk forwards and above their head, and then try to position those tusks in between the nipple, and then put it, holding it with their lips and suckle. I'm sure it does have a lot of milk, because you can tell that is a very big boy to be suckling, but he still wants it, so it means there is plenty. Sometimes he's not given enough time to drink because the mother wants him to get independent and to start eating early. We are at the marsh, a very beautiful place. Oh, that is a hippo. Actually, sorry, I really wanted to update you about Jasiri. We saw him last night, and he was very close to me. And I looked at the wound. It's closing up. He's walking better. He's still got a limp, but he's walking better. He's all alone, but his herd wasn't very far. They have been visiting him every about 2 days. He's in a very safe area with plenty of water and grass, and so looks like he's on the healing side. He's going to make a comeback quite soon. Yes, that is the update on Jasiri. That is a hippo, and he's quite far from the river. So it means there is a pool of water somewhere. And definitely he's a male. Sometimes you come across males out in the middle of nowhere. Main reason is competition has become too tight and high where he was. And so he decides to go and find a silent, cool place without any other males or competition, and so he can start his own pool. And this could be the case that he is here. It's interesting to see that the elephants are tolerating him, because he doesn't look like he's very worried. Well, I'm going to leave you to enjoy this beautiful scene of elephants enjoying the afternoon grazing while we take you to another live safari vehicle.
I have made my way down to the south, and I've just joined into the dry riverbed of Mulwati, one of my favorite places to come to. And I found this hyena with the right idea in this weather. Look how well it's nestled into the tall grass there. It's probably a nice damp spot too. Hyenas like to lie in a damp spot. It looks very, very, very cozy. It was so well hidden as we drove past. It looked at us as if to say, oh, if I'm very quiet, maybe they won't notice me. But we noticed it immediately. I'm not sure who it is. I think it's one of the clan males. Our clan females have very identifiable ears. And every now and then he picks up his head. Now it wasn't too far away that wild dogs were. Just a little south of me. Unfortunately not in an area we can go to. And you'll find that hyenas will follow them around. They'll also follow around leopards. Especially if there's a kill. So the fact that this hyena is here in the Mulwati, right close to the southern boundary, is a good indicator. In fact, this hyena will be very good for me to be able to tell when those wild dogs come over onto our side and we're able to see them. It will be able to hear and pick up on scents much quicker than I can. Veronica, you say he looks very comfortable? He really, really does. He looks superb. It's a nice patch of shade. It just looks so good there. Where I'm parked, there's not a stitch of shade. But to view lovely hyenas, I'll do it. Hyenas are one of my favorites out here. I can hear a squirrel alarm calling. Most likely at the hyena. But there's a tingly feeling in the air. I'm not sure if it's because of the wild dogs. I'm not sure if I feel like it's because of a leopard. But definitely a tingly feeling. Dear watcher, you say that you like hyenas more after watching this show. Well, that's mission complete then, or at least getting there, because hyenas are great, great animals. Of course, they're potentially dangerous. Of course, they do scavenge sometimes, and they have a bad reputation. But lots of things do. And if we can show you just how amazing they are, how complex they are, how cute they can be, and how sometimes they can even not smell unpleasant. That's not to say that they smell pleasant, but they're not always smelly creatures that are just lurking. Absolutely not. And I'm so glad that we could do that for you, dear watcher, and I'm sure for others as well. Having the den sites has really helped with that, because we get to see them as little cubs, their personalities develop, and all sorts of things like that that really help you grow attachment to them. Some of these hyenas, I've seen them from the first time anyone has seen them to them being 2 years old and fully grown and still behave like a cub. It's a very interesting journey, and one that's really nice to take you all on too. Now, in the distance in the Mulwati, oh, gorgeous dry riverbed, I love coming here. There is even a giraffe, enjoying the Mulwati much like myself.
Here we have got a little sounder of 5 wart pigs. And it's quite special here. I know they're not rare animals, but they very seldom sit still for long enough for you to actually look at them. And I suspect that they're only doing it because I don't think they've noticed us. We're quite far away, and they are, of course, unsighted by the fact that they're not taller than the grass, which I think must make life quite difficult. Not so much for these guys, but imagine being a warthog in those grasslands of the Masai Mara. Basically, you can never see further than 3 feet in front of you unless you climb onto a termite mound, and it's quite likely that that termite mound will be occupied by something that wants to eat you. Anyway, here we've got some wart pigs that are strolling off towards the southeast, enjoying the new flushes of green grass and the rhizomes and stolons that have come with that. Those are the underground parts of grass plants that hold the most nutritious stuff. I suppose like tiny potatoes, you might call them. Tiny odd-shaped potatoes. Hello, Kim. As I said at the beginning, it's a sounder of 5 warthogs. Apparently all pig groups are known as sounders. I don't know why that is. I'm not sure what the English origin of the word sounder is. We had some water buck in here, but they seem to have absconded. Yes, they have. Can we see the wart pigs anymore? No, they too have gone. Anyway, it was nice to spend some time with some warthogs. A sounder of warthogs. And now we shall continue. Let's get around this tree and see if they're still there. There they are. Oh, there they are. Hi, guys. We're just having a quick look. Don't worry. Please don't leave. Yes. Good day. Yeah, that's a lovely sight of the little sounder going off into the grass.
Look what we have here. Just when we didn't know where she was, she comes and visits us at our camp again. Yes, it's that beautiful young lioness that we all have come to love around here at Eco Training Pridelands Camp. And so spectacular to have her so close to the camp. Hi, I'm Mike. Behind the camera is Seb, and you've joined us at Eco Training Pridelands. And yes, we were so lucky. We were actually leaving the camp, doing a bit of a loop around, and then Seb said, "Lioness, lioness." And then I didn't believe him. I thought, there's no lioness. They're seeing things. And then all of a sudden, this lioness was chasing Ngala through our camp. Students were very surprised. They're standing by their tents, and we said, "Everyone stand still." And then she settled down here now after missing the Ngala, unfortunately. But we know that she's an excellent huntress. We know that she's been doing great. She caught an impala and a Ngala just about 4 or 5 days ago. So she's just now starting to get hungry again, and so she's trying. She's just taking a little moment by a little pan of water, enjoying the cool breeze of the water off the pan and the shade of this beautiful big knobthorn tree. She's a statuesque, gorgeous female. So you'll see that she's looking at something, and there's another vehicle in our sighting. The students, obviously, after having the lioness basically run through the camp, have all come out and are now enjoying this female as well. So nice to see her looking healthy. And the reason why we know it's Lagatha, the lioness that you all recognize, is that scar on her head. You can see that that's actually a fairly new addition to her battle scars, showing off the wisdom that she's gaining. She's got another injury as well that I've just noticed. Just behind her front left leg there, you can see there's a bit of a bare patch of skin and a bit of a wound there. It looks healthy. It looks like it's healing. But she's learning some lessons as she goes. Remember, she is quite young. We think that she's only probably nearing 2 years old, or if anything, or if at most just over 2 years old. So she's still got a lot to learn about how to hunt and how to avoid getting hurt. But every scratch is a new lesson. Rosalind, that's a great question. I've never actually measured a lion's tail, or I can't say that I've specifically remembered that fact. But it's fairly long. I'd say it's probably almost as long as its body. Now, the lion uses its tail as a bit of a counterbalance when it is chasing, but not as much as some of the other cats do. For example, a leopard when it's climbing up in the trees, or a cheetah when it's running at its full speed, flinging its tail back and forth to try and act as a rudder. So lions do it to a certain extent as well, but not as much as leopards or cheetahs. So probably the tail is not as long or as heavy as it is in those two cats. The lion mostly uses its tail in visual communication, if nothing else. So it is quite long, as you can see there, with a black tuft on the end, probably almost as long as its body, not quite as long as its head as well. And they use it to give indications of their mood. When the tail is just twitching gently, it might be resting. Right now it's lying flat, so it's quite relaxed. And if you see the tail lashing back and forth, then you know that this is a frustrated or angry lion that's likely to do something. So if you are, maybe driving and you see a lion doing that, probably keep your distance. Don't go any closer. But her tail is not doing any of that. It's lying flat. In fact, she's looking at something towards the water right now. Could be some terrapins or something coming out on the water's edge. That's caught her attention. I can't believe it's the middle of the day. You always watch nature documentaries and you always read the books and it says, they'll hunt at night and, all this kind of stuff. But this lioness has been doing a lot of hunting around this dam during the day. But you know what? I think she's mostly successful when it gets dark. It just goes to show how much energy goes into and how much hard work it is to survive out here in nature. When you see a lion with a kill, you think, oh, cool, they were successful. It was really easy and it was really great. But they probably hunted 10 or 20 times in order to catch that one animal. So they're always living right on the edge of hunger, starvation almost. So you can see she's looking really healthy though, strong, muscular. Yeah, a few scars here or there, but she's doing just great. And she's panting heavily because it is very hot. And she did just charge through the camp trying to chase a Ngala. But I'm sure soon she'll recover her breath and probably lie flat to sleep.
Here we found another little gem in the Mulwati. It's a triagama. When we were little in school, we'd call them a blue-headed lizard. And this one has made its home on this jackalberry tree. Look how bright and blue that head is. Striking colors. Oh, this is a male. As you have probably made out, because he's nice and fancy colored. Just beautiful. They're actually quite closely related to chameleons, and you can see, oh, you can see the fact that they're colorful like this, and they can change the intensity of that color, and they also have these rough types of scales in them, not the typical scales you would see. That blue is just amazing. It's so vibrant. It's a green, blue, turquoisey. Whoa, great. I love it. Now these guys are carnivores. They like insects, even millipedes. But especially orthopterans. Orthopterans are grasshoppers, crickets, all those types of animals. They love them. Look, it's beautiful, wonderful colors. We've been wanting to see this tree agama for a while, knowing that he's here on this jackalberry. And now we're going to move on from him, see what other gems the Milwaukee will provide.
Welcome back to Masai Mara, and I am here, same setting at the marsh, and I'm still with my elephants that are happy eating what they are known for, elephant grass. They are the only one that eat grass, this kind of grass. If you look carefully on that frame, you see we have a lioness, and this is one of the lionesses of the River Pride, and this is where they are hiding their cubs. I haven't seen any cubs, but looks like she's very relaxed, like she's right at home, and so I'm hoping maybe they will be revealed to us. Also, there could be an interaction between the elephant and the lioness. Usually it is not a very good one, because elephants usually want to assert their dominance, and they will chase the lioness quite quickly once they notice that she is there. That is the beautiful scene that I have here set out this afternoon. It's just beautiful. Trees dotted here and there, and this is what makes the elephants, the giraffes, thrive in this part of the Mara. There was a little bit of a rumble from one of the elephants, and I think it's the little guy in the middle there. He was asking for assurance, and everybody is headed towards him or her to give her comfort. You can see that. Everybody is headed there. Look at that. There was quite a loud roar, and everybody, look at that. It sounded like somebody banging on iron sheets from a distance, and you can tell the reaction. Everybody went there really, really fast to give courage, to give support, and at the same time they have found a pool of water and they are enjoying it. Yes, it was the little guy in the middle, and it looked like he's still there. I don't know what he saw. Maybe it was something that he stepped on. Yeah, you can see that the little guy in the middle there is the guy who called for backup. Looks like everybody has joined in, and there is a party just about to start. Maybe there is a pool full of water, and so everybody's gonna enjoy the water. Maybe a wallow. Wallowing is part of elephants' daily routine, where if they find very shallow water, they'll actually use their toes to mix up more mud and water to make it so thick, like a thick porridge, and then they smear it onto their bodies by throwing it using their trunk onto their backs, always adding an extra layer to help decrease the sunshine reflections directly onto their skin. The lioness didn't make a move. She was just lying there, didn't make a slightest even a move. I'm still thinking what's going to happen when the elephants get close. It's going to be very, very interesting, but you can tell she's not worried at all. She knows the elephants are there, but she's not worried at all. These herds of elephant are so many, sometimes it is hard to keep tab on who is who, apart from few individuals that have got distinct characteristics like cross tusks, a hole in the ear, a wound. Those are the only ones that we can keep, tab on. Also the ones without tails. Sometimes they lose them at a very young age to hyenas who are trying to feed on them. Elephant population at the moment in our country here in Kenya is almost hitting around 40,000. It is a very small population compared to what it was about a century ago. So it is good to see that the numbers are still growing, but they haven't really reached what it used to be. At the turn of the 19th century, it was estimated that we had almost 500,000 elephants roaming freely all over Africa. But due to habitat loss and extreme poaching, the numbers went down really fast. We saw most of them disappear from the 80s and 90s. It is said we lost about one elephant every 15 minutes from the 90s to about a few years ago. So it is very sad to hear that we have only about 40,000 left, but they are making a comeback. Well, here you can tell there is no compromise. Elephant is the king of the jungle, and the lioness is the king of beasts. So she has to make way for the elephants. This is Halftail, and looks like we might lose her to that long elephant grass. It's a pity, but this is nature. I just have to appreciate the time that she has given me, and I hope that she's going to come out later and maybe reveal all those cubbies that I've been looking forward to seeing, and also maybe Mosquito, the lioness with the floppy ear, might come out to hunt. And today I don't think she's gonna go very far because we have wildebeest galore, wildebeest menu everywhere. They're just everywhere, so she doesn't need to go very far. And as quickly as she appeared, that's how quickly she can disappear. It looks like she stood up and she's heading further down, but the wildebeest are not very far. They're only about 300 meters to my left. I don't know if we'll be able to show you, or the angle is too tight. They're right there. We cannot see them, but they're very close. I was hoping that she's gonna get up and maybe jump on one of the logs here and maybe spot the wildebeest and maybe go hunting. I'm gonna stay here for a little bit longer because it looks like it might get very interesting. And let's see what's happening somewhere else.
Looks very awkward, the position that this sub-adult is in. laying on its side and its head twisted almost around. Looks very... Oh, the birds woke it up. Good afternoon. Beautiful. What an amazing sight we are having this afternoon with these three cheetah. The ruckus that was created there by the white-browed sparrow weaver, that bird woke the cheetah up from its late afternoon snooze. But they all three are very relaxed, and what we're hoping for is that they get up now towards the later part of the afternoon and they become a little more active. Nice sight of the pads, not always seen, but when you do have an opportunity, when this animal is laying like it is. Oh, Glenn, can you stop there? Can you go a little bit more down for us? So in picture now, you can see the claws. Look how long those claws are. They're about 3 odd centimeters long, and they would be fairly blunt. They've been worked down, obviously, from the animal using them as trackman spikes. That's how this animal is able to accelerate at a phenomenal speed, 0 to 70.
So we hear the Mara, and lots of wildebeest are currently moving towards the west. It's not certain whether they're coming back or not, but we have herds that have split up. We have herds down by the marshes about 2 kilometers away. We have some that are on the footsteps of the Olololo escarpment. We have some zebras also mixed with these herds, but also we have some zebras that are all only by themselves grazing, heading towards the river. So this is super interesting because at this time of the year, these herds will be all the way down to the Serengeti or Kenyan side, which is the Mara, or just next to the border to the Masai Mara. So they will just be grazing slowly, heading towards the east. But then sometimes we see them moving back to where those other herds are. And this is prominently because of the change of weather. We are going to stay here. This is a very live and interesting interaction as we wait here and watch this wildebeest.
We are, yes, we are still with a little squirrel. It was shouting, and it was shouting because it saw a vulture, and the vulture flew off as we arrived, and it went, and then it stopped because the vulture's gone. I'm not sure what it thought the vulture was going to do for it, or to it, not for it. Perhaps it confused the vulture with another raptor, which may have devoured the poor squirrel. Now, the tree squirrel, I think, is a rather fun little creature. They're great to watch. They're always busy. They have a very interesting little social life. Always fighting amongst each other or making up and being relatively friendly. And so I was quite distressed the other day when I didn't witness this, but a few others in camp did. They witnessed a monkey murder a squirrel in our camp, caught it, ripped its guts out, left it on the ground. Very disturbing. The monkeys were persona non grata for some time after that. I mean, that thing's just way too cute to harm, surely. And there are hundreds of them around the place. All living in little tree holes, in little family groups. Good day, Murphy's mom. No, we don't have chipmunks at Djuma. We don't have chipmunks in the Greater Kruger National Park. We don't have chipmunks in the Great Limpopo Transfrontier Park. Indeed, in the entire continent, chipmunks do not occur. Now, I don't know if they occur in the northern parts of Eurasia, but I suspect that they may be limited to the New World. In other words, to the Americas, I think. But we definitely don't get them in Africa. A chipmunk, is it a rodent? Yes, I think a chipmunk is a rodent. So it's the same order, but probably a different family. In fact, definitely a different family. So I'm afraid there are no chipmunks here. I mean, I know nothing about chipmunks save that they occur in cartoons.
That's as much as I know about them too. Look at these little things, dwarf mongoose. Playing around in the Mulwati. Have you ever seen dwarf mongoose on a tree? Well, you just did. They're playing all over this fallen over stump. They're too cute. I love watching them. They're very, very busy at the stump. I wonder if there's something special going on, something they're digging for. Oh, a very adventurous critter here. Can you hear them? Very, very low frequency whistle-like sounds. Ooh. When you sit with them for a while, then they start to come out. Oh! Did the mongoose pose there? Off you guys go. Scurry, scurry, scurry. They're all crossing the road now. Here they come. See how the first one that passed picked itself up and watched for any danger, while the others trusted that one. And the rest just ran across. Gosh, they're actually coming from the top of the other, the kind of the eastern bank. Oh! Oh, look at that. Senak, you'd like to know which mongoose species is the best at tree climbing? I'm going to say dwarf mongoose, since it's the only mongoose species I've ever seen on a tree. I know the tree has collapsed, or is on its side, but technically they were on the tree, right? I don't know of any mongoose species to be tree dwelling. I can hear one very close to us. Oh. Can you hear it? It's so cool. Look at them. I love it. You can watch an animal make the sound, not just hear it. Now they're all crossing the road again, back to the other side. What's going on? Lisa, you'd like to know if mongoose have long teeth? They're carnivores, as in the group carnivora, which means that they have carnivore-like teeth, which means incisors and canines that are well developed.
Good afternoon, official. I'm out.
Good afternoon. We'll just put you quiet. Silent. So they have well-developed incisors and canines. I've had a look before quite closely. And for their size, I suppose it is quite large. But if a mongoose had to bite you, that's not going to give you a very nasty bite. Or at least to me. I would say the incisor or the canine is the size of like the white bit on your pinky finger, on the nail of your pinky finger. Well, mine's actually quite longer. I'll have to measure it for you at some point. Anyway, I'm going to sit with them and watch what else they get up to.
We have got a little bee-eater, which many of you have seen before. Most of you have seen before. And this particular little bee-eater and his friend or wife or husband, can't tell which, have a nest here. And we've seen them in this nest before, and the nest is invisible to us, but for their disappearance into the ground. So they nest in termite mounds or in holes in the ground, and they go into the kind of roof of the termite mound or the hole in the ground, and that's where they have their little nest. And I wondered if they would come back to this nest, and indeed at least one of them has this year. Then there's another bee-eater species, and I'm going to sorely test and port now. Those birds flying around, you see them there? Those are European bee-eaters, and they're going to land, hopefully, there. They've landed in the top tree, in the far tree there. They're going between that tree and the one on the left. You see them? Is that the tree? No, that's definitely not the tree. Beyond that. No, the marula at the top. Are you on that one? No, it's the wrong tree. Come, just zoom out, if you don't mind. Can't even see where the camera's pointed. Oh, go to the right. Yeah, up, just follow up the trunk of that big tree there. Up. Yeah, very top of that tree. You'll see them. Keep going. There they are. That's it. So, I mean, they're quite far away, but they are very beautiful. And there's a slightly bigger version of the cute little thing that you've all seen. And that's the European bee-eater. They've just arrived back about 2 weeks ago. And they arrived back in Johannesburg a little bit before that. And it's always so nice. When I go for a run in Johannesburg, I run along one of the rivers there. And it's always lovely when you first hear the choop, choop, choop of the bee-eaters on their return. Just glorious little subtle colours there in amongst the branches. Gold on the back, pale custard yellow beneath the beak. Sea blue, Mediterranean blue just below. Ian, I'm not sure if you're asking me this question seriously, but I think somebody's actually worked it out, so let me see. Let me just check. I mean, there's no ways that I can remember a number like that. It must be far too much for my 1 megabyte brain. But I think somebody's actually worked it out. Stand by 1 second, I'll figure it out for you. Dives, twists, sometimes hunts, blah, blah, 50 to 68 foraging. Eats mainly small and large bees, wasps, flying ants and termites. Also flies, ichneumonian flies. No, it doesn't say how many. A lot. I suspect they eat a lot, I don't know. Ascending up to 150 meters.
So maybe they might come in our area or
yeah, not sure.
in that area.
The wind is starting to heave out of the sky, or along the sky, so I think we'll carry on.
Those are very interesting birds. Now, currently in the Mara, we have a migrant bee-eater called the white-throated bee-eater. Now, these lions here have tiny cubs, and the lionesses here have made a kill. So, a success story for these young ones. It seems like they didn't hunt a long time ago. This might be about an hour and a half ago. So these tiny young ones have already joined in for the kill and to get at least something to eat. You can see one of the cubs actually lifting or biting from the hind there, which is a little bit soft. The lioness is assisting by actually opening the carcass so that the young one can get good place to feed. Well, this other one to the left is busy trying, but the skin is super hard and thick. So in future they will be learning how to eat on carcass and which part is actually soft. We have a tiny young one, about 4 or 5 months old. He has blood all over his face. Now he's cleaning over his face. Look at that, so cute. So these lionesses are from the Hyena breed, and we hadn't seen these cubs for actually a while. Not even a while, we hadn't even seen them. We didn't even realize that these lions had tiny cubs. So there's 2 litter, there's 2 cubs who are about 4 or 5 months old, and then there's a litter that is about 7 months old. Curious young ones. And that's how they learn from playing on with some birds, anything that walks around here, they'll be super playful. So when they have these cubs at this age, they will eat fast and make sure that these cubs can get something to eat as they watch while these cubs are eating. So the mothers have to protect or watch over them. Bridget, thank you so much for your question. By the age of 9-month-old, the mother, about 9.5, the mother will introduce them, walking around with them, trying to hunt. But then when they're about 1.5 years or 2, they'll begin to hunt fully. But by the time they get to about 2.5, they'll be super experienced. So the success and the experience of cubs comes from watching their mothers, who will train the young ones how to hunt. It seems like the skin is super hard. The one to the left has not even got a piece there. It's still nibbling on the skin. And that's why sometimes you see lions actually licking the skin and rubbing with their rough tongue so that they can have a spot space that they can bite and tear the muscle. This is playing, that's it. A typical behavior, what happens when cubs are eating on a carcass. They start playing and start pretending to be killing that animal. She just went from the trot to feeding. Look at how playful he is. He's got a spot there where he can at least feed from, while the others are trying as hard as they can to tear through the skin. So this meal at least will last them for about a day or two. By tomorrow morning, maybe midday, it will be entirely finished, because there's 2 lionesses here. And early in the morning we saw this pride with a male lion by the name of Ololache. So possibly Ololache is the father of these cubs. And of course, if he comes here, he'll get his share. And that's the reason why they have to be hanging around with that big male, because these lionesses are walking into a pride territory of the Ololo. And that sometimes can cause conflict. So you don't want to cause conflict when you have such young cubs. Still, those cubs are nursing, so the mothers have to hunt on a regular basis to make sure that they nurse them and they have adequate supply of milk. Because sometimes these cubs can be left on their own for about 24 hours. So when the mothers go out on a hunt, if the cubs are too far away, what happens? They have to return back to the den where they've left the cubs, and then take them to the carcass and eat, and then carry on still in their pride territory. I'm still going to hang around here, see if the big male will come or the cubs will carry on eating as we take you over to another safari vehicle.
Well, from lions to more elephants, I have moved slightly from my before position to where I am, and I'm still enjoying the company of these pachyderms over here. It's a nice medium-sized breeding herd, and they're very spread out, meaning that all is well, all is comfortable, nothing to worry about. There was a bit of communication, so everybody is turning around. It looks like there's going to be a small reunion or gathering. Yeah, that guy there, that's what they do when they're using mud to spray their bodies to add an extra layer. But the sun doesn't really work. But because he's just there, he's taking advantage of the sun. Maybe he's getting tickled when it falls on his skin. Looks like everybody is coming together. Let's see what's going to happen. Remember, they communicate through infrasound, which is an infrasonic sound much below our sense of hearing, and it can travel up to around 5 kilometers away. And in this case, they were not very far, but I did hear something said, rumbled, and everybody headed together. It could be a crash cut meeting for the family before they head out into the plains. It's I don't know what they've been told by the matriarch. The matriarch is the oldest family member who's got all the data of knowledge that they need to grow up as real elephants. Mint magic, was this area once filled with trees? I wouldn't say it was fully filled, but it was more forested than it is now. But due to human population, fires are burning, and also elephants felling down trees, it has been opened a little bit than it was before. This is the matriarch. She's coming right for me. She's coming right towards the vehicle, and looks like the meeting they had was her to tell them it's about time we leave this spot and we head out into the plains. Looks like that was the message, because immediately they gathered up, the behavior changed, and they all turned heading out. Here she is, only about maybe 30 feet away from me, and I don't know what she's telling them now. Maybe she's still communicating, I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait and see. Maybe she's telling them this is Isaac and Bungay. We have seen them before, and they usually don't bother us, so don't you worry. Or maybe she's telling them this is the guys that actually did something bad to us. But looks like they're very okay with us. As you can see, they're very okay with us. She did give me a look, but yeah, the little one is suckling, and looks like the mother plus her sisters are giving her company. And you can tell they're putting her in the middle so that she can suckle safely, while trying to check us out. If we're a threat, it might be different, but since we're not a threat and there's no feeling of being scared, I'm sure they can sense that. They will move on. But this is the kind of behavior we always see, when elephants approach us this close when they have young ones. You can tell that she's not very sure, walking close to us, so she has turned around and she's going further up. It's time to move on for them, and looks like they have a drinking spot that they love, which is up there, and that's where they have gone. They're having a drink now over there. Elephants need to drink almost every day. Over here, they're not stressed out. There is enough water everywhere, so there's nothing to worry about for them. They need about 200 liters of water every day. Yeah, and off to the right, you'll be seeing some wildebeest that has just appeared out of the blue. I don't know where they came from. Okay, you see them, there's a long line, and it's interesting where they came from. I don't know, they just appeared. This is normal this time of the year to see some lost few wildebeest in the middle of nowhere. Looks like they know where they're going, but every now and then they get lost and decide, okay, I don't think we crossed here last time, we need to go back. Yeah, back to our elephants. They're still not sure of us, but they're quite a distance where, in case of anything, I can get away. But it looks like they're just telling me, we can be dangerous if you get close. That is a youngster trying. Well, it looks like another sign has been given by the matriarch. Leave Isaac alone. He is very okay. He means no harm. So let's move on, and looks like they will be moving on. As they move on, let me take you somewhere else. Let us see what's happening.
Look at this very cute little arrangement of a rough-scaled plated lizard, I think, and a dwarf mongoose. Now, this is not the first time we've seen this. Lauren has had the same arrangement in another termite mound in a different spot, and I didn't realize how often these two species spent time together, but obviously it's not a once-off. Lauren's actually had them being physically, one hesitates to say intimate, but certainly touching each other without any animosity whatsoever. And they're both carnivorous. I suppose they both eat very similar sized things. The little troop of mongooses all around there. Let me see if I can call them up again. No, not interested. I can hear them making their little calls around the place. But isn't that cool that they live with this rough-scaled plated lizard? I think it's amazing. He looks very satisfied with his life. Floss Tycoon, what a name you have. You say that they are roommates. They are. They indeed are flatmates. I'd love to know what the internal arrangement of the termite mound is, whether they share the same chambers or if they've got separate chambers. If they share a kitchen, they cook together, eat at the same dining room table. I mean, I wonder if they like the same TV channels or if they have to have two different separate sets of TVs. You know? Maybe the mongoose like to play Monopoly and the lizard prefers to play bridge. I don't know. I do rather wish the mongooster would come back so that we can see them interacting. But I think they're all foraging very close by. Looks like such a peaceful place to be. Nice temperature, good view of the sunset a little bit later on. There you can hear the mongoose calling now. Tick-tee, tick-tee. Oh, you know what? It's not the mongoose. There's a drongo there that's imitating them. Oh, that's classic. I'm not going to ask Mpo to go up to the drongo, but I can see it. It's sitting just above the lizard. And it's imitating or mimicking the mongoose. It's doing it quite nicely, too. That's very cool. Not sure why it would be doing that. Yeah, definitely. It does a little bird call before, and then it does the mongoose call, the little contact. Yeah, I think the mongoose are enjoying their forage too much. All right, we'll carry on down towards the waterhole and see what's there.
Good luck at the waterhole. We have a little bit of movement from these three beautiful animals. You can see them in the left-hand side of the frame. They're just tucked up under a bit of shade. They've just changed position. It looks like we're coming to the period where these animals are going to start moving. There's a bit of grooming, a bit of stretching. Should I pull forward for us a little bit, Glenn? Okay, we're just going to pull. Here comes the other individual here on the right. So we've managed to see the the gender of these two cats. It's one male and one female, which is really nice. But hopefully we'll be on the move soon. And I mean, they ate 2 days ago, and they ate a youngish kudu. But the tummies could be hungry, and we could have a little bit of action on that later period within the afternoon. Going to the toilet. So that's the young female, it looks like it. And we're in a great area where antelope move in and out this semi-open environment in which we are now. And you can see where they're sitting. They've got a bit of cover where they are concealed. And they're just waiting for somebody to unexpectedly stumble in here. And hopefully that'll be an opportunity for these animals to get another little bite to eat. It's quite an incredible thing. Think about every couple of days you need to go out and hunt something. And if you don't, then you're going to be battling along. The resilience and the dedication of animals is something truly remarkable, something that really fascinates me, how they drive and push. And if they don't push, unfortunately, the system works them out. Yeah, this is the little female. Beautiful. Wow. Can see those heavy eyebrows casting a nice shadow over the eyes itself. Lana, would these cheetahs stay together forever? That would be a very beautiful, happy ending, and something that I wish would happen, but naturally, no. These cheetah would break away in the next couple of months. Give or take, it's about 18 months where siblings stay together with mom, and then thereafter they kind of find their way. Mom breaks away and the group will stay together for a certain period of time. And in a system like this now, where you have one male, one female, that female will break away fairly quickly from this male. She will then form or take a more solitary form of life, as where this male would be solitary, or he could possibly join up with other young males. It's not uncommon for cheetah to form coalitions of unrelated individuals, and that just gives them a better chance at survival and as well as access to food. So, and then mom is starting to come into estrus again. So she'll have other males in hot pursuit of her, whereas in these cubs don't want to really be around for that. And they need to become independent. That's their independence. Around 16, 17, 18 months, they break off, and then normally the females break off if it's a larger group, and the males tend to stay together. But then she needs to start preparing herself. Her body is starting to change now to hopefully produce a new litter for Tswalu. And it's pretty incredible, the amount of cheetah. If you look at worldwide, in terms of a population, it's quite a low figure, a rough 7,000 left worldwide. And Tswalu has a very healthy population of cheetah. We're also in the correct environment for these animals to thrive. Oh, look at that, a little bit of grooming, a bit of aloe grooming, strengthening bonds. All right, just hold on for me, folks. I'm just going to pull the car slightly forward. It's such a beautiful sight to see. Just give me 1 second. Oh, I've got to select the gear. Obviously, we've got a big luxury on Tswalu. We're allowed to off-road, but as a guide, you want to take every measure possible to minimize your impact in any way possible. So using off-road tracks that have been used before, and this is what we've used to get to this beautiful sighting. Beautiful. So this is just strengthening bonds between the two individuals, and also just removing stuff that you can't. Oh, how strong is a cheetah's bite force? It's definitely not on the high-ranking end of the scale. It would be less than that of a lion. In terms of pounds per square inch, I would really be taking a shot in the dark. So if you look at the reigning champion, that would be animals like your hyena. They have specially designed muscles that attach to a massive depression within the skull, and hyenas have a bite force of 1,000 pounds per square inch, whereas in cheetah it won't be very much. I'd put them maybe at about 500, if not less, pounds per square inch. They don't have a very, very strong bite force, and obviously their teeth are not well equipped to clamp down correctly along the airways of prey. But it wouldn't be a high or very strong amount of pressure per square inch that they would be able to bite down to. What a beautiful sight. But very interesting question. I would see this evening when I get back if I can actually find the relevant information about that. That's a very good question, and something that you won't otherwise get if we weren't in this beautiful situation together. So thank you for the question, and I will definitely try and further that or pursue that to see if I can get a better understanding. But I would put them in the medium to low end of the scale of bite force. We're going to send you off to another amazing location. We'll stick with these guys.
Well, the lionesses have revealed themselves once again. These are 2 of the 4, but these were the ones that had eaten really well yesterday. One of the lionesses is the one that had joined Maskio this morning on a hunt. Looks like she didn't like Maskio's strategy. That is the one with the tip of the tail missing, and now she has joined one of her sisters on a new hunt. I don't know if they're better than Maskio. I don't know if Maskio will come and follow them, or maybe she has made a kill by herself, because I haven't seen her. But these 2 are part of the river pride. Look at all the muscles on that lion. The reason they have these muscles is excess protein. They eat meat and only meat. If they do get any other vitamins, it's from eating, intestines from animals, and that would be a very small percentage of vitamins. But eating too much meat and walking and fighting animals to bring them down using strength, develops all those muscles. This girl here looks like in perfect shape. She is suckling. You can tell that she has got that saggy tummy line, and that is what stretches when they feed. So she is not full belly. When she feeds, the belly becomes too wide. And in one sitting, she can easily consume about 40 kilograms of meat. That is enough to feed a family for almost a month. It's a lot of meat. Yeah, looks like this girl likes the idea of going on that termite mound, and so she's joining her sister, or maybe I'm wrong, heading to the right. This is how a hunt starts. Looks like a casual walk in the park or out on the street, but the strategy is to pick up whatever they want to go for, then get into the serious mode, hunting mode. And killing and hunting is in this animal's DNA, and when one decides that it is time to hunt and portrays a behavior to hunt, everybody gets into the mode. Everybody plays a role, because once that is learnt, one will decide, it's better to be in this position or in this area. And if it means flanking a herd of wildebeest or a warthog or a buffalo, everybody knows where to position themselves. Usually one is the one that initiates, then everybody moves in. Looks like they are going out. They have circled their cubs really, really well since yesterday morning, and now it's about time to go out hunting. There's always somebody watching them, and here we have Topi. Topi have got amazing eyesight. One of the most beautiful antelopes of its kind in this plain. We call it the large size antelope. Amazing eyesight, and they can run, my friend. You know, catches stop speeds of up to 70 kilometers an hour, and they can hold that for quite a bit. So they are rarely hunted. Already they've picked up that these lions are here, and with the snotting from their nose, they can tell everybody who is on a lion's menu that lion around, beware, get out of this area. But lions also have learned a tactic where they show, you know, they pretend to show no interest, lie down, and hopefully, you know, the Topis either will get out of the area, run away, and this looks like that's what she has decided. I'm going to stay here in this termite mound and hope those Topis are going to leave. Same for me, I'm staying here. Let's see what more action we can share with you.
We've got a kudu bull that is looking quite suspiciously over us. And he's stopped looking over us now and has now just kind of walked away. Alas. I think he would have let off an alarm bark if he'd seen something. See how his beard ruffles in the wind. My beard is not long enough to ruffle in the wind yet. It just looks like he's not looking at us. And he's got a big mate behind him that also appears to be staring fairly suspiciously into the bush behind us. But I don't see any evidence of anything that might cause them consternation or displeasure. Other than me and Paul, of course. Daniel, yes. What few people understand is that the tale of Little Red Riding Hood was in fact a biologically superbly designed story, because when the big bad wolf said to Little Red Riding Hood, or when Little Red Riding Hood said to the big bad wolf, "My, what big ears you have, Grandma," and the big bad wolf said, "All the better to hear you with," although there is no question that the big bad wolf was a lying, cunning, devious hound, he was, in fact, in that particular instance, being very truthful. Big ears mean you can hear well, except in the case of the elephant, of course, where the ears are large to cool down the brain. But in the case of the kudu, those enormous ears help them to hear, especially when they're in slightly thicker bush, because they are browsers and not grazers. So, when you're thinking of, perhaps you're a parent and you are thinking of educational stories for your children and you want them to learn some biology, scrap The Lion King, no biological worth in that film, but in Little Red Riding Hood, at least you'll get the nub of some kind of biological insight. Big ears, good hearing. Big eyes, lots of light into them, good sight. Big teeth, well, of course, all the better to eat you with. Small teeth, small food, you see. Matilda, let's have a look at the world record Kudu horn size. I don't know what it is off the top of my 1 megabyte brain, but I will have a look for you now. See if I can find a record. Yeah, look, normally that's pretty much full size. So they're about 1.5 meters long. Adult males can reach a length over the front curve of nearly 1.8 meters. So nearly 6 feet, just over 6 feet. 1.8 meters. There you go. Current world record is a pair picked up on the Sabi River in Mozambique in 1963 that measured 1,876.4 millimeters. Can you believe it? These are followed by a pair from Limpopo province measuring 1,758 millimeters. There you are. Didn't know that myself. Glad I wasn't too far off. There they go, into the bush.
Kudus are super nice to see, especially when you look at their spiral horns. Now here we have our lionesses still eating. The cubs have already had some full stomach, so now they've gone to rest. So one of the lionesses come back to eat. Now when the cubs are this small, they have what we call a prey selection. You select a young one, like this young wildebeest, where it's soft, tender for the cubs. So this lioness, sometimes when it comes to eating, you see that they will look at how she's puncturing the stomach. So intelligent. And then she'll pull it out. She's eating the outer layer of the intestine. You can see the stomach content. She'll avoid that while eat the outer membrane. And because lions are not herbivores, that's why she's avoiding the stomach content there. And of course, because it's full of plant matter, she'll have to pull it off and then drag the carcass a little bit off the intestine matter. The cub is coming to join because that intestine is actually soft. So this cub is learning the trick because a young male, so in future he will know what to go for and how to do it. See, she's still pulling it, and I'm sure she'll pull the carcass off from that spot. Yes, that's a soft piece, so the cub is going for it. Mama said no. So when the cubs are this small, the lionesses will go for young prey, which is soft and tender. So at least the cubs can be used to as they're growing up. But sometimes they go for larger prey, which the skin and the meat is super, super tough. So they'll at least adapt and get utilized to use their canines, which are, at this time are small, and that they don't have that biting force as compared to a fully grown lioness or a male lion. You can see it's not eaten much, so these lionesses took this wildebeest calf down and then killed it, and then let the cubs go for it first, and that's why you see she's come to join in. Only some parts are missing, so it means that yes, the cubs are the one that went first. Viola, thank you so much for your question. It takes about 4 to 7 hours for them to digest meat. Because remember, this meat is raw, and sometimes, depending on the prey, it can be an old buffalo or an old zebra or a young animal. So the older, the harder, and the longer it takes to digest. They're still enjoying. Seems like the cub is actually grabbing it from the mom. The mom sees that it's super sweet and tender, but the cub is still not going to give up. Okay, let's share. Seems like a sweet piece. You can see how this cub is actually muscular. He's a young male, and from the age of about 7 months, 8, you kind of see how they get strong on their muscle, on their legs, and on the neck. And because of the gene pool nowadays, we get to see lions from a very young age developing mane or hair on the face. Like look, when you look at his neck, you can see some mane or hair development. They are still too young, so mother is actually doing the paternal work to share. But sometimes when they grow up, there will be a hierarchy in who eats first. So being a young male, sometimes they will also bully the rest of the sibling to eat first. So the second lioness is joining. They are very good moms. They had to let the young ones eat first, and then they come last. So if there was a male present here, he would have gone first and at least share with the cubs, and then the lioness that made the kill get to eat last. So we're going to sit here and watch these lions as they devour this carcass. Seems like the young cubs will join later or soon as we take you over to another safari vehicle.
PK and I are on a stakeout at Treehouse Dam. Here we have the hippo, who has already noticed us. That really didn't go to plan because we're hiding behind some bushes, or at least on two sides. The front, where the hippo is staring at us, it is open so that we can all view the dam. But we know there's some giraffe close by. And we know that they won't drink if we're around. Oh, look at that displaying to us. So if we're a little bit hidden and a little bit quiet, then maybe they'll come down to drink, and who knows what else will come down. So we're going to sit here for a little while and just watch. Although this hippo, as soon as he saw us, he started opening his mouth up really wide. He even scent marked by doing his dung flick of the tail. That flicking of the tail that they do to spray their dung is a dominance display. And it also looks like you're trying to catch a fish in the mud. Again. Wow. Isn't that incredible? That jaw can open so wide. Truly, it looks like almost 180 degrees, so it's more like 150. So wide. Though it may look like they're innocently yawning, they're not. They're showing off those teeth that can do some really ridiculous damage. Another character that we have at the dam is the Cape turtle dove. Oh, it hurt me. Never mind, it's flown off. I'm sure some other birds will come down to drink, especially since it's cooling down now. And we're in a good spot, you see, to our right. Bushes are covering us. To the left, a little less so, but still covered. Green woodhoppers are laughing at us behind the vehicle. I know you've got your eye on us, buddy, but don't give us away. Don't do it. That would be him standing. So you can see that the water is not very deep at all. Quite cute, mister. Your little ears. Your ears are probably as big as your nostrils. This is warhees. You'd like to know what the purpose of those front teeth are, those big teeth that they display to us when they open their mouths like that. It's to fight. Those teeth are especially well developed. Not only well developed, they're really long and sharp. And that's what hippos will use to defend themselves, but more to fight amongst themselves. The ones that we see, you see those two flat ones? I'm going to just lower my voice because I see a giraffe. It's not very close yet, but I want it to catch off of me. So those are the ones that we see, those ones that are pointing forward in the jaw of the hippo, and then there's the long tusk-like ones. Those are incisors and canines. Those continue to grow constantly. And they occlude against each other, so they rub up against each other, which means that they keep on getting sharp, the ones from the top and the bottom. And those deliver ridiculous ridiculously nasty blows. All they have to do is have their mouth open and walk straight into their opponent for the front-facing teeth to go straight in. Let's look at our approaching giraffe. Hasn't noticed us yet. Ray, you'd like to know how long hippos can stay underwater? About 3 minutes, although I have seen 5 minutes quoted before. In fact, once I saw 8 minutes quoted, but realistically, 3 minutes. And that is a long time. During that time, they can lower their heartbeat substantially. Just about 20 beats or so per minute. That, of course, means that less oxygen needs to be used in that time, less carbon dioxide is produced. So it can hold its breath for that time. Nostrils, they're so wide and upward facing, which makes perfect sense if you want to keep the majority of your body underwater. Gorgeous, it's on us. It declined. Oh no, it's coming towards us. It's seen us. I'm going to sit here, as you know, and stake it out, see if the giraffe comes to drink.
Yes, welcome back to this side of the Mara, and I am here. I have tried to move as far as possible from the lionesses. So one of them is coming towards me, and not very far from me is a zebra and wildebeest everywhere. I am hoping that this is the chance that she's got to make a hunt. I don't know if she has realized what is here. Looks like she's starting to sense there is something close by, and she's going to go into stalking mode. You can tell that her ears are pointed upwards and forwards, her head slightly raised up. That is trying to read and understand what is going on. Maybe she has picked up the smell, but she hasn't really picked up the amount or the quantity of the wildebeest and zebra that are here. All of them are very busy grazing, and it has helped actually for me to come this far and wait for her to come close towards, the wildebeest. They are right here. Bungay will be sharing them with you, a lot of them, and I hope this is the time that she's going to make a kill so that Mashio can come and have a meal. Remember, it might sound like I'm really loving this, I'm really wanting, the lion to make a kill, but There is nothing else I can do. They are built for the kill. They have to live. And for them to exist, they have to kill. It's not that I like blood, but seeing them do it in the natural way is better than seeing them in a zoo. So I'm loving this. I hope you are enjoying it too. Here, everybody is at peace, but the peace won't be for very long because trouble is looming. Where is she? Let's see. Is she in stalking mode already? No. But you can tell she has positioned herself in the lowest point of the road, and already she's moving towards everybody here. Yes. Is it today that they're going to make a kill or not? Yes, she's already on stalking mode. She has seen everything that is happening. I don't know how far her sister is, but even by herself, she can bring down any of these, a wildebeest or a zebra. She is big enough, about 100 and 110 kilometers per, 110 kilos. That is her weight, and she's in her power to reckon. She's full of muscles. She can bring down an animal 3 times her weight. Her jaw carries a PSI of about 650 PSI. That is enough to pierce through the thickest of the skin of these 2 animals that are here. It's the wildebeest or the zebra. Yes, it is interesting because it's like animals have got a 6th sense, and they sometimes feel like there is danger and they just turn. Look at this zebra. She feels like she saw something. She's not sure, but he is trying to confirm. It's like they have this 6th sense that doesn't exist, but the body language tells them it is not okay, because nobody has seen the lioness, but the body language of that zebra tells me that she feels all is not well. Yes, I know it is very tense. This gets me really, really excited. Sometimes I lose and skip words. She has relaxed, and I think she's trying to ease the whole situation by staying there for a little bit longer, so whoever thinks that he saw something can forget and say, I think I didn't see anything. It is a strategy that they learn and earn through experience and years of being out here. This is a very huge lioness, and I am waiting to see what she's going to do. You might think that she wants to go and sleep, but I'm sure in that head a lot is going on. How can those zebra that thinks that saw me move on and I can continue stalking? I think that's what's going on through her mind. One thing about lions is that you rarely get to see very little body language when they're hunting. They look like they're doing nothing, but the lower part, the legs, the haunches, the head, is what shows the body language. The face usually doesn't express anything. Most of the time you see the expressions when they're feeding or mating. That's when a lot of facial expression are shown. But during hunting, it is like, I'm doing nothing, but seriously, she is on the hunt. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but conditions are perfect. John Snow, thank you for your comment. She is using the road to her advantage. Very, very true. And thank you for your observation. That is the lowest point of the road. You know how they build the incline, the top part, and that's where the water is supposed to run off, so all the water doesn't stay in the middle of the road. It's much lower than the middle of the road, and that's where she is hiding. You can tell that she's going to be here for a few more minutes because she wants everybody to forget. Well, let me stay here for a little bit longer. You won't miss out on anything. Let me take you somewhere else, see what is happening.
All right, we've got a bit of movement from these wonderful cheetah, and they're looking fairly active. They're looking like they want a late afternoon lunch. Oh, great question that was asked. What is the bite force of a cheetah? What a fantastic question from the viewer. Thank you so much, because by that you've made me a better guide. So on average, a human bite force would be 150 to 200 psi. A cheetah would be 475. So we can say between 400 and 500 pounds per square inch. And then obviously the reigning champion with a very heavy head, very, very strong teeth, and then huge muscles would be that of the spotted hyena, 1,100 pounds per square inch. So I was right on my guesstimation there, 400 odd should be in the middle. But what a fantastic question was asked there. Thank you. So you can see how small the head is. They don't have, the equipment to hold all the muscles, the attachment, the teeth. They have to be fairly lightweight. So to have a very strong bite force, you'd be detrimentally affecting the animal's mobility, so speed, and as well as its agility. So having a smaller head means smaller muscles for the jaw, smaller teeth. That's why these cats normally go for small to medium size prey items. Oh, lazy kitty now. So mom is ahead. There comes the other sibling. That's the male. You can definitely see that. But how beautiful is that, folks? And what a scene we are having here right now. Definitely on the move. So if they come across something, we hopefully can witness something quite a spectacle. Just come back here, Glenn. Just look at this one in the wildebeest rolling pit in the mid, and from the wildebeest decided to lay down. She's obviously keeping her fur in good condition. This is the little female that's in view right now. It's huge eyes, eh? Wow. You think she's trying to coat herself with the scent of wildebeest? Jim, what's the fastest cheetah speed ever recorded? The speed of cheetah has been recorded up to about 120, but that's a little bit of a push. I'm sure a cheetah could get up to there, but it's anywhere between 80 and I would say about 112 kilometers. That's pushing point of a cheetah, giving it its everything. So I'd say the fastest would be 110 or 112 kilometers per hour. And that speed can only be sustained for about 400 meters maximum. Most hinds are under 300 meters, where this cat needs to stalk within 50, 60 meters to have a chance at a successful attempt on a hunt. They really do put everything on the line every time that they push their body to that point. I mean, think about the ligaments, think about the muscles, the bones, the heart, the lungs. Everything is just being pushed so hard. And that cat is literally flying for half the time at that speed. Its stride length would be somewhere around 7 meters. So think about when the feet touch. The next point will be 7 meters after that. So it is literally flying half the time while it's hunting, which is pretty remarkable. So they've found a niche within an ecosystem, in amongst other carnivores, and they have utilized speed over a long period of time, and they've become specialists. They are specialist cats. And really remarkable that we here at Tswalu have a healthy population, that we see these animals quite frequently, and then as well as hunts quite frequently as well. We are very lucky here. But this lady is keeping her coat in good condition. You've got to look good. You look good, you feel good. Wow. You can still see a bit younger. Still see the face looks young. Probably thinking, where's the rest of my group gone? So those biting flies, when we were sitting there earlier, we were watching the biting flies moving in and out of the fur. So it shows you how the fur becomes an obstacle for those tiny little biting insects. The amount of fur will just create like a lodging effect where that insect will have a hard time getting into the warmer bits where the skin would be, where the animal would be feeding. But great for insulation. All right, we're going to send you off very quickly. Hold on.
Look at this. The dogs from this morning have come north onto Djuma, which means we have a perfect view of them, and they seem to be going off on the hunt. They're in a very tricky area for the vehicles, so I'm not sure how long we're going to be able to stay with them, but we're going to do our very, very best. These are all the youngsters, and they're following the adults. I'm assuming this is the Pungwe pack, but I'm not entirely sure. That's nice, one of them having a good dump. They will start moving probably quite quickly, and if they go down into the riverbed, they will be quite tricky to follow. So I suspect it'll be an on and off thing for the course of the afternoon. But there are 3 of us with them, so hopefully we'll be able to stay with them. Isn't that marvellous? Very exciting to be with them. See if we can get over this way. I'm not sure we can. We may have to go around.
Well, the strategy has changed, and I think she has decided she might bite more than she can chew, and going for zebra might be too difficult of a task, but I don't know. Let's see. Looks like she has decided to go for the zebra. I thought she was going to go for the wildebeest, but looks like she has changed and she is going for the zebra. Is she gonna do it or not? I know you are saying, oh no, she might not do it. It is bad, but she has to make a living, and for her, killing is in her blood, and she doesn't kill, she won't leave. I don't know how far she is. It is still too far because she hasn't, she's not. She hasn't closed that distance. She needs to be at least 20 meters to be able to get anything. Remember, she's too heavy also and too big, so she needs to be very, very close before pouncing. It is still not guaranteed that she will get anything until she gets it. She is very close. I don't know why she decided to go for the zebra. Maybe there is good cover, and that is the strategy she's playing. Go down, let everybody relax, and then move forward. She's moving, Okay, thank you very much for wishing the lioness good luck. She's got babies and she's got cubbies. They need to drink, and without her eating, she won't produce the milk. Zebra is a big animal, weighs almost twice the weight of that lioness, and it doesn't go down easy. So it's going to be very interesting to see what is going to happen. Is she gonna, blow her cover, or is she gonna do it? The zebras looks like they don't know she's there. They're very relaxed. I don't know what is the distance. Usually with the camera looking from a distance, you can never tell, but let's see. Is she gonna do it? Is it now? Is it going to happen? It's about now or never. Let's see. She's close enough. Oh dear, is it gonna happen or not? The zebra sort of felt something, and is it gonna continue? If it continues, it's going to be very, very, very bad for it. Well, is that feeding going to be the mistake that the zebra did? We're going to be saying that in the future. Let's see. My heart is, racing a little bit more than usual because I don't know what is the outcome. I've learned to appreciate when everything is over, because predicting something like this, is not allowed. Things can go very, very wrong. I mean, that zebra can decide. There we go. She's got it, guys. Yeah, she's got it. It's there. She got it. Yeah, she got it. Wow. She got it. Well, all the stalking, all the patience has paid off. She did it. How about that? It doesn't mean it's over until that zebra stops kicking. That was amazing, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is part of nature. There is nothing I can do. It's nature at its best. Survival versus hunger. And here, hunger has beaten survival. Well, the zebra is still alive. I'm not changing this position because I might lose her. I will have to discuss with Bungay to see what we can do. But let me see if I can change position slightly. You can tell everybody else of the zebra is very tense. He's looking behind. There's nothing they can do. She's in that bush there. So maybe if I try and... Okay, just hold on there, guys. Okay, let's maybe wait. Okay, looks like it's over now. Those are the last kicks. Remember that the chase, the zebra must have lost a few breaths. Already she was trying to breathe. So when the lion closes that trachea and all the air is closed inside, and she doesn't allow the zebra to breathe, every time she releases a little bit of air, she tightens the trachea and the windpipe so that, the zebra gets weaker and weaker. And right now, if you could see the facial expression in her face, it's one and only expression. She's so tightly holding on there and hoping that, everything finishes quite quickly. I'm staying here and changing positions, and while I do that, let me take you somewhere else and we'll be right back with you guys. Wow.
It's a hell of a day on safari when wild dogs are not the top thing to watch. Live lion kill in the Mara. Well, that's fantastic. Our dogs are starting to move. They are, as yet, they don't seem to be fully on the hunt. There go the babies. And it's a little easier to follow them when they've got youngsters like this because the adults will hair off in front. And you just lurk with the babies at the back and they will help you to find the adults.
Yeah.
Because they're not quite big enough yet to take part in any hunting. Oh, what's going on? There's a chase here. There's an impala behind us. Okay, just... The impala went running off towards the left there. There go the dogs. They're all running left and forth. So you can pull back onto me. And the impala went running off here. Vultures circling. Dogs in front of us. I think they've caught. Here we go, another one behind, next to us. There we go. I'm just going to slow down now, let them catch up with each other. Michael, they've crossed the drainage line here. Okay, we're going to lose sight of them. Quickly go to Twin Dams. They're back at Twin Dams. All right, we're going to have to turn around here, I'm afraid.
Our cubs are still eating, and look at what has happened. The mother has already got something, and it's much carried off. So these young cubs are really enjoying because this cartilage or the flesh there is super soft. Look at those teeny tiny canines there. So these two brothers are enjoying it, and at this time and age they will still carry on sharing. But as soon as they grow up, when they're about the age of about a year or a year and a half, they'll start that hierarchy where they keep on fighting over meals. So this time, table manners is set. It's still a good time to share. They're still innocent. They're enjoying it. But the moms here have done a very good job. You can see it's a very young calf. So like I said earlier, they're selective when it comes to prey hunting when these calves are super small. Took one of the legs. The skin is too tough at least now, but as they keep on growing, they get the experience on how to go about it. The lioness is checking over another calf that has walked away from her sight. Sometimes when they... Now, we've just seen another lion that has taken down a zebra. So this is typically the time that most lionesses with cubs have to hunt on a regular basis. And as we carry on watching these cubs carry on eating, we'll send you over to another safari vehicle.
Brian, well, looks like she's licking the blood. She's licking the blood and she's enjoying it actually. Yeah, there's a sister who joined her. She's on the other side and we can't see her, but she's just there. Looks like she's feeding, on the holes that she punctured. That is what she's feeding on. You can tell the sister, you can see the sister. From behind, you will see her, raise her head from, behind the lioness. I can't tell you how I'm feeling. I'm still very excited. And it happened really, really fast. I didn't know that it was going to happen this fast. I thought she was going to go for the wildebeest, but everything turned around and the zebra was well positioned and she decided to go for it. Well, we were not close enough to see what was happening, but I'm sure, she really held on to that neck, and the holes she punctured, the blood is coming out, and that's where she's leaking the blood from. I'm very glad that they have had a meal, because the other lionesses, we've been seeing it for the last 3 days struggling, will have a meal, and maybe the cubs will come also to enjoy the meal. Well, it is tough for the lions, as you saw. She did quite a lot, and she has managed to make a kill. I'm very proud of her. She's one of the river lionesses, and now the whole family gets to feed. Craig, everybody is having a Friday feast. Are you having a feast? Well, if you are, everybody is having a feast. That is well said, and that was amazing, how she did it. This is a very big meal for everybody, and they are going to enjoy it for the next, few hours, and maybe until tomorrow. This is a place I think I'll be coming to see if the cubs will be here. Right now, she's still leaking the I would say the blood from the holes, and I think I'll try and reposition slightly so we can see that, and maybe get to see the other lioness, because the position I'm in, it's not really good. Okay. No, I think she has moved. We might see the other lioness, so I won't move there. There she is. You couldn't see her. Remember, we are on infrared, and that's why the eyes of the lionesses are glowy. They usually open it from behind, in between the hind legs. That's where the skin is softer, and also there is plenty of meat. Well, believe me, I'm not leaving this position. Let's see what's happening somewhere else and see what is happening.
We have got our doggies walking along a little embankment here. Mad chase. They didn't catch the impala that they were chasing. We're just having a wonderful time here with them. Wow, hey? What a safari. Wild dogs and lion kill. Spectacular. And Paul, have you seen these things before? First time? St. Paul's baptism of fire. There's nothing harder for a cameraman, well, other than trying to film bats, than a wild dog sighting with the dogs on the hunt. It is a really difficult thing. Just going to get out the way. There's a whole lot of people taking pictures of them. Side.
The evil one, the western side or the southern or eastern side. I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't see her on the bumper unless just before she got to the bumper to make space. So I'm not 100% sure. You're going to have to ask Michael then. Okay, thanks.
Righty, on we go. The adventure continues. Oh, God. They've gone off in here. That is not easy.
Well, I've just decided to reposition and give you the underbelly side, because right now they're trying to break into the inner side where it's softer. The one to the left has broken in between the legs and it's starting to feed. The one in front is just breaking. You see, hear that? Yeah, it has broken a little bit of skin. Well, that is what it takes to do a hunt. You can tell, that's the skin they're breaking. Yeah, where do you want to take it? Yeah, trying to break to get onto the inside. Well, some kills like the one is this one here, it happened very fast, and I'm sure you've been joining me and you've seen some of them how long they take. So you can appreciate, being out here and seeing those documentaries. But this one is not a documentary. This is live. It's happening right now, right here in the Mara Triangle in Masai Mara, Kenya. These are the river lionesses, and they've made their pride very proud, because now they have a meal for the next few days. Remember, they ate yesterday morning. We found them walking on the track and they were bloated from eating something. So it means they are going to be doing really, really well. And from where they are, they can actually leave one of the females watching the carcass and head back towards the cubs and nurse them, or even bring them here to have maybe their first taste of the meat. Maybe, yes, I think this will be their first taste of meat, if not the second. I didn't think they were going to go for the zebra. I'm still going to continue saying this, because there is a lot of wildebeest. Zebras are usually very tough to come, to bring down, but the way she did it, the impact she hit the zebra with, I think that really surprised the zebra and knocked it down to the ground. And to her advantage, before the zebra realized what had just happened, she was already on the throat and biting onto that windpipe, trying to stop the air from getting out. And I think that was over after she got to the windpipe. Looks like right now the dining table is set, and they are going to be here for the rest of the night. You can hear the calls of all the zebra. Maybe they are members, they are part of family of this zebra. I'll let you listen to that a little bit. Yes, you can hear them breaking, the skin. Trying to get inside to that soft tissue, soft meat. Yeah, this is a meal for the kings. Yes, I think this will be the second taste of meat for the cubs if they do come. This will be a very good second introduction to eating meat. I don't know why, but the female to the left keeps looking to the left. I don't know if she expects to have company the rest of the pride. Actually right now I think they are just opening it up. One lioness might head back and bring everybody else, because they're only about 2 kilometers from where we are. The one to the right is the same girl we saw this morning joining Maskio out on the open plains trying to hunt. I would wish that Maskio turns up here, because here is a feast and she is missing out. She's the only one that hasn't eaten really well in the last week, and she should be here. But I don't know if already she had her own kill somewhere else and that's why she's not here. Maybe continue talking to us, #WildEarth. Question and comments are very, very welcome. It's around 20 to 7 East African time. It's getting dark and that's why the color is slightly different. We're using infrared lights to illuminate this kill so we don't interfere with their behavior. You know, these girls are equipped with teeth for cutting, and that's why they're able to open the skin. HB, you say she was so smooth in making that kill. I would say she did everything perfectly.
Well, they've caught a duiker here. We just heard it going, and it must have been caught by one adult because all the other adults were with the pups. And this poor thing was screaming, and then they just started to run. If you are a sensitive viewer, I know that this has been a rather macabre drive in that there's been quite a lot of death. But, you know, unfortunately the duiker's misfortune is the wild dog's fortune. It is an insane drive, yes, completely insane. Absolutely astounding, really. The sounds, you see how, I don't know if you can, that's the toothy one. I think they call her snag tooth. She's just doing a bit of patrolling around the outside to see if a hyena might come in. But what's amazing is the difference between this and a pride of lions feeding. The lions will be... Hey, there's the hyena. Did you see the hyena, Paul? It went running off down there. A snaggle tooth went after it. So the adults have left the kill. None of them are here. They've all kind of fanned out in a star formation. To make sure that they can defend the kill and defend the pups if a hyena or something else comes in here. Their worst nightmare, of course, is a lion coming in. But there are no lions around, as far as we know. It's interesting also, you can see some of the young ones sitting up and listening. And I think that they are slowly wising up to the fact that they need to be a little bit more responsible. At a kill, they're much more aware of what's going on around them. They're not just feeding wildly. What a drive. I think it's fascinating that none of the adults are here. They've all just gone off to protect and make sure. Did you see the hyena there? Ah, well spotted, and Paul has got the hyena. Now, let's see if the hyena figures out that it's only babies here. No, not yet. It's gone off. Well spotted, and Paul. Here it comes. It's coming in here from the right. Now, it hasn't come in because the adults... Listen to them. The adults are not here. And the hyena's still lurking. It'll be assessing whether or not this is a risk worth taking. And I suspect that it won't take too long before it assesses that this is a risk worth taking. All the babies coming back. And now they're looking a little braver. They're geeing themselves up. Now you heard that bark that they made, that growl. That sound is... Oh, here comes a whole lot more little ones. That sound is the most dog-like sound that they make, that alarm bark. I think some of the adults went to fetch the rest of the pups too, because there are a whole lot more coming in now. Hyena is still there, lurking in the bushes. Maybe these chaps are big enough now. To actually fright or take on a hyena. There's some drinking just behind there. Now here comes Snaggletooth, the adult again. She's just being a disciplinarian. Isn't this cool? Well, Andreas, I think that's very much a kind of subjective opinion. So you're saying it's nature playing out at its best. It's certainly nature playing out at its most brutal. Whether it's its best or not, I'm not sure. It's certainly absolutely fascinating. A huge puddle of dogs. The light is slowly starting to fade, and they'll go and find themselves somewhere nice to rest for the night. In a little while, getting in the way of the camera. We can move, especially as the other vehicles moved. Let's move a little bit and make it a bit easier for you, Paul, so that I'm not constantly in the way. How's that? Better? There we go. Dyker minding its own business today. And the hyena's coming in again, or not coming, it's just lying there, lurking. Well spotted and Paul. It's off to the right. I'm trying to hear what's going on the radio and amongst all the cars moving around. Nothing subtle about a Toyota Land Cruiser, I'll tell you that for free. There's our hyena. I think he's may have had a chance if he'd come in when it was just the youngsters here. But I think now he'd be taking a big risk. He or she. I can still see the hyena, so we'll wait and see what happens.
Well, how lucky to see wild dogs on a hunt, lions on a kill, wild dogs on a kill. That is super cool. Now you will appreciate these infrared lights because it is total dark here. I can hardly see a meter away, 3 feet. But with this new technology, we are able to bring this live hunt and eating by these two members of the River Pride, clearly without interfering with them in pitch dark. You can tell the one to the right is not chewing, she is licking. She could be licking a bit of blood. There is something going on here. And by that I mean these girls are not starving. I have seen them go in between the hind legs and eat a little bit, and now she's opening the stomach. She keeps looking to my left. It means she might be expecting the rest of the pride to come. I have seen where, look at her, that one. Definitely, she's not eating, she's not chewing, she's just licking. Hamanda, Jumbo, how long will this lions take to finish this carcass. I would say that by tomorrow morning there'll be very little left, because we know that these two have got two other lionesses that have been hanging around together. So times 4 times 40, you get 160 kilos. So that is a lot of meat, but the 4 lionesses will devour that, including the cubs. Give them a kilo each, maybe they're 4. That is almost 164 kilos. Well, take away the skin that they won't eat, bones and part of intestines, the gut they'll open up so that all the waste can go out. So I would say most of it will be gone. I will be coming here in the morning. It's not like I might. If I make it through the night, I will come here because I'll see a perfect ending, maybe a bonus for me to see the cubs for the first time, and that we will see the chest, the ribs, the rib cage will be open. That's what we'll be seeing. There's plenty of meat in the neck. Also, that one will be open. So by tomorrow morning, there'll be very little left. You can tell that she's getting in there, trying to pull out the diaphragm and get to those sensitive organs. That's what she's doing. That one there. It might look gross, but this is nature at its best. We only think that, that was, I think, the liver. Gone. Yeah, she's eating all the, parts with rich in protein. That's what she's eating. She's looking around. Well, I'm gonna stick here for a little bit longer, see what is happening, and while I do that, let's see what another safari vehicle has to offer.
Just walking away saying, don't even think of it.
Comms are breaking up there. I can't hear what's going on.
I've got no problem.
Well, I thought I was off the hook, but I'm still here for you. Well, you can tell that these girls don't play with their food. They really needed this meal, and they are really showing that they needed it. The one to the right definitely is licking on blood. This girl to the left, sorry Bungay, I'm confusing you. This girl to the left is just everywhere. She was right now in the stomach, then she was at the diaphragm. She's now back on the hind legs. Well, she can do whatever she wants. She did the kill, and she's been feeding well, and I think she's become fussy. She knows what she wants. She knows what she's missing, and I think that's what she's trying to get before maybe hyenas come or other lions come. The one to the right, you can tell she's feeding on the area where the lioness that made a kill. The one to the left punctured the wound. That's where it is. Yeah, she's licking blood. Yeah, she's not eating, she's licking. So definitely she loves the blood. It is nice and hot. I don't want to imagine, but it must be very salty and tasty. Hyenas will be visiting quite soon, and if a clan of about 40 hyenas arrive here, it might be a show. I hope it doesn't happen so that we can see the cubbies tomorrow. I'm staying here, I'm still here. Let's find out what's happening somewhere else.
Well done, Isaac from the Kalahari. Well done. Yo, that must have been a sight to see. And then you guys had wild dogs also on the hunt. These 3 cheetah have been very active. There's the young female that actually gave a bit of a stalk on a fully grown oryx. It's a little bit big for them to take out, but you never know. Just like we saw those 2 boys a couple of days ago taking out a fully grown oryx. The experience of these younger cubs would definitely be a bit of a negative factor, taking out a larger prey item such as an oryx. But it's all in the right... It's all going the right way for these cubs because they need to practice this technique. So any opportunity that they get, they have to try it out. How to stalk, when to lay down, how to approach. And I mean, up to 50, 60 meters this animal has to stalk within to its prey, which is very close. You know, the prey item not picking up by sense, sound, or sight. But absolutely beautiful. Fantastic, you guys have been having a wonderful afternoon in the African bush. So it looks like they've given up on the oryx. They were looking at it intently, and they must have followed the oryx for about 200-300 meters. And then once the oryx picked up on one of these young ones, the game was up. Okay, I'm just going to pull us forward there quickly, Glenn. Just hold on quickly, just ever so slightly. But how fantastic is that view? Wow. Couldn't ask for a better scenic picture for a cheetah to be in. Has to be one of my top cats. In terms of the bigger cats, cheetah are just so active in comparison to their relatives like lions and leopards. My most memorable memories is with cheetah actively hunting, mating, pursuing intruders. She is on the lookout for dinner. So this is mom in frame. You can see, oh, look at the body posture, everybody. Ian, that is a great question. Do cheetah go into the mountains? Ian, not out of the necessity to hunt. All the hunting will be done in this area, in these flats. This is where obviously the cheetah can get up to its top speed to capture prey. Going into the mountains, they'll go into the mountains to cross over from one point to another, especially the 2 boys that move from the western side of these mountains to the eastern side. They actually cross over a little section, wow, of the mountains, and they literally go right over. And then also to evade a predator, they would seek a little bit of refuge. To evade baboons or a leopard, they will go into the mountains, but not necessarily to go up there to hunt. So most of the activity is done here on the flats. We're going to carry on with these cheetah and see what they do.
Look what's happened here. They've killed again. This is a different kill. This is an adult male impala, killed by 2 or 3 of the adults while the youngsters were feeding. And these guys just left the duiker and started to run. And we followed them here. And here they are, an adult ram impala. Hyena in attendance, off to the right. And also 5 or 6 vultures who just happened to be in the area. I think saw the deal meted out on the poor old impala and thought, well, that's a lucky spot for us to be. Unbelievable. So I think the adults, whose faces are all covered in blood now, got a good feed here. Well, yes, Dingo. The dogs are on a bit of a killing spree, but that's what they do in the afternoons and in the mornings. They do the killing. And everything with half a brain stays out the way. And sometimes even those with half a brain get caught up by mistake. Poor chap. Oof. Well, he's not going to see another mating season, I'm afraid. I don't think even the best vet in the world could do anything for him now.
I've been radio down last 30 minutes. Any updates?
Sorry about that, everyone. Now they'll do this again tomorrow morning, they'll do it again tomorrow evening, and they'll just keep doing it. They'll be variously successful. Sometimes they'll get nothing. Seldom they'll get nothing. Sometimes it'll just be a scrub hare or two. Sometimes it'll be a bonanza like tonight. Apparently the hyena at the last kill was Sutu. I don't know who the one here is. I don't think it's Sutu. Yes. Thank you, Kellen. You said you're glad I get to spend time with my favorite animal. Yeah, I sure am glad too. Very special. Especially to see them in action. Been very, very lucky indeed tonight. Whew. Amazing how satisfying it feels when you get a sighting like this. And they'll settle not far from here, so if you wanted to see them in the morning, if you pitched up here before dawn, you'd have to be here before dawn because they'll start moving before dawn. That would be the thing to do. And in fact, on a clear night, if there's any moon at all, they could move too. But they should all have plenty to eat tonight. No one will go hungry. Whew. We'll sit with them for another 10 minutes or so, and then we'll leave them be as the light starts to fade.
Look what we found. A tiny little baby floof. A tiny little hyena cub is coming out of the entrance of the den. We've been watching it for days. We weren't sure if there were any cubs yet. There they are, or there's one of them. Look at that tiny thing. It's so small. We were watching the mother. The mother's also there, lying at the entrance. And we were just watching her. We were going to talk about how sedate it was and how calm she was. And then we just caught out of the corner of our eye this tiny little thing coming out. Look, it's coming out more. This might be the smallest hyena cub I've ever seen. Look what it's doing. It's sniffing everything. I'm sure it hasn't really been out of the den too much. It's so small. I mean, you can't see in the camera just how small this is, but probably this thing would fit inside my two hands if I cupped my two hands together. It's tiny, absolutely tiny. And you can see now where we always call them little bear cubs. It looks like a tiny little black bear. See, it's busy sniffing all around there and chewing on stuff. I wonder if there's more than one. It's unusual for there to be more than one hyena cub. I mean, unless it's from multiple mothers, because especially if there were two females, they would fight quite a lot. But just look at this little thing exploring this. We might be the first people to have seen this hyena cub now. And you're sharing the experience with us. That's amazing. Oh. The mother just put its head up and it ran away. Finak, the survival rate of hyena cubs is probably better than with solitary animals like leopards, but it's still probably not great, especially, as I said, if there's two females in a litter, because what will happen is whichever female becomes more dominant will often kill the younger one or the smaller one or the weaker one, and that's called siblicide, and this happens quite often with hyenas if there's two females. But there are a clan, so there's multiple hyenas altogether helping to defend an area and look after an area, so their survival rate is generally fairly good. But I couldn't tell you an exact percentage amount. I mean, it's a tough life for a hyena, just like it would be for a lion or a leopard. But I think the difference is that hyenas can subsist fairly well off of... Oh, there it is again. There it comes out. They can survive fairly well just off, carcasses and leftovers. They don't need to go and fight and hunt and do all those crazy stuff. This little hyena's probably also never seen a vehicle before. So it's wondering why Mum is so calm when there's this giant thing just over here. As you see, the young hyena will eventually... There's another hyena coming. Another hyena's just arrived back. Let's see if there's any sort of interaction. I wonder if there might be some interaction. We've seen the hyenas sniffing at the entrances, but I've never seen them interact with the young ones. So let's see. Maybe the young one still will hide away from any other adults. See, this hyena has also got a massive belly, so I suspect that it's also either pregnant or just given birth. Or it's maybe had a big meal, I don't know, but I suspect that these two, we've seen them at the dens quite often, I suspect that these two are mothers. Look at this. Interaction. They're probably going to sniff each other's genitals now, as they often do when they've been away for a while. Oh, there goes Mum back into the den. Let's see if the second one follows in. That would be very unusual if the second one also goes into the same den. So obviously now we know why these hyenas are not just going to find a new den when the warthogs are also using it, because they've got tiny little cubs. And of course the survival rate of these cubs is higher than on other animals because they live underground in this very safe environment. So if they had to move them around too much, you lose that advantage. Debbie, not of a hyena, because they give birth inside these dens, but Debbie, I have seen impalas giving birth before. It's quite an amazing experience to be watching an animal being born into the world. I wonder, Debbie, have you ever seen an animal being born? It's an amazing experience. I mean, to see a hyena being born would be, I think, probably extremely rare. Because, of course, we just don't see them giving birth because they're inside the den. So look now, the second hyena is now going to the entrance. So this one's got a tail and no chip out of its ear. And so I wonder, what is the relationship here? Is this the mother? Is this an aunt? You can hear some light sounds, some little twitterings. It looks like they're both lactating, both of these hyenas. You see how it's very difficult to see, but they've both got what looks like mammaries that are swollen. I suspect there might be multiple litters in this mound. I mean, you can see there are at least 2 or 3 holes here, and there's multiple holes on the other side as well. So it could well be that there are multiple hyena litters here, which is quite unusual. I've always been of the sort of opinion, or I've always been told that hyenas will go off separately to give birth, and then once the youngster is old enough, they'll come to a communal den site where the whole clan will gather. But I suppose it's possible that multiple females might give birth in the same place. This is really wonderful. We actually went earlier to visit the den we had been viewing before, and there's absolutely no activity there. So the clan has relocated to this area, which is good. It's even deeper into oh, there it is again. A lot of birds and other animals calling now as the sun sets. But this little baby, man, how lucky is this? We were here yesterday for a long time and not even a peep. But maybe it was because those other 2 youngsters were around. A bit too too much excitement maybe for this little youngster. We were just thinking that if this den might be around for quite some time now with this very, very small hyena pup, or cub rather, it might be actually a good idea now for us to get you all involved in maybe helping us to name some of these hyenas. So we'll get you all involved very soon. Suckling.
Yo, guys, it doesn't get better than this. You guys are having such a jam-packed afternoon. It's not even funny. Lion kill and 2 wild dog kills. And these cats are very mobile. It doesn't get better than this. The light is absolutely gorgeous. They are very active. We had a little standoff with an oryx now. Obviously, they are a little bit out of their food range for these inexperienced individuals. But look how beautiful that is. So looking for anything. What they would want here is a young antelope of wildebeest, oryx, kudu, maybe a young kudu female, and then as well as yeah, definitely something small and manageable, let's say it at that, for these guys. I would agree with you there, Samantha. They do look very elegant while sitting. They just look so chic and so, they're so presentable, let's say it that. But these cats are very active, and hopefully with the last bit of light, we can have some action here. Take a look at the tail, folks. Look how the tail is actually flattened from the left and the right. It's not round, it's not cylindrical. It's actually laterally flattened. And a very important tool that she would use when at top speed to keep that body in line with the prey item. And that's a tactic from antelope, and how they evade predators is their ability or their skills on sharp turns. Their agility is a big factor on how they will evade animals like this. It's absolutely stunning. Look at that, guys. Wow. It's one thing about Tswalu is just the scenery is just on another level. I'm working here for the past 3.5 years now. I just cannot get over it. Every day that I'm out here, it's like I'm seeing it for the first time. It's sheer beauty. So we're not too far from watering hole. We're about 1 kilometer north of a watering hole. And this is where hopefully these cheetah will hopefully run into something. Coming to that golden couple of minutes now, golden 15 or 20 minutes. As photographers call it, the golden hour. It's a very, very short window of just this beautiful, perfect light.
Well, these girls have been taught very well, and according to their situation, they deserve to learn best how to utilize a kill like this. They have eaten, believe me, quite a lot of it. The fussy girl to the left has been eating here and there, and you can see she is eating some of the large intestines. That is what she's eating. She's using her shoulder to hold on to that leg so she can get deep into that, chunky stick. The other one is still licking and eating on the neck. I think she wants immediate energy and she doesn't want to wait for the meat to digest for her to get all that vitamins that are needed. She is drinking and every now and then nibbling or eating a little bit of meat. You see that she's licking. Yes. Same time looking around, they are expecting the rest of the pride, I would assume, by the behavior they are portraying. I must say it has been an epic evening to see these lionesses perform this for us. Rio, Jumbo, what parts of the carcass won't these girls consume? Those are mainly the bones, the hooves to start with, femur, tibia, the pelvis, all the vertebrae at the back, ribs on the chest, skull on the head, a little bit of skin maybe towards the upper side of the shoulders. Those are the parts they don't eat, but everything else is consumed. With this size kill, they might not eat much skin because there is plenty of meat, so they will consume everything I've mentioned about but the skin. The girl to the right looks like she's opening up something. It looks like she wants to separate the shoulder blade. She's biting on the shoulder blade area. They're very smart lions and they learn different techniques as they age. A Lilian, Jumbo, do they always start at the belly? Well, it depends on the size of the kill. If it was an impala and there are two of them, I have seen one starting to eat the head because they can just start eating from anywhere. But large prey like buffalo, hippo, elephant, zebra, wildebeest, they will start from inside the hind legs. That is where the skin is very soft, and so it's easier to go in, and then they work their way forwards or inside. They also do open up the brisket and then separate the ribs, then get in and pull out those sensitive organs, the diaphragm. They'll eat that. It's very rich in protein, so they'll eat that also. So large animals, they start from under where it's softer. Small animals, warthog, impala, waterbuck, Grant's gazelle, Thompson's gazelle, they can start anywhere because they have strong enough jaws to start breaking up the skin from any angle. Do we still have the two lionesses? I don't know. Is she still behind there? Yeah, looks like she's there. Well, look at that. It's like she's trying to show us the kind of operation she has done. You can tell that they've opened up the inside, and I think this is actually needed because when the little guys arrive here, they will want to eat, and these girls want to have their feed and their fill, and so that they can just sit aside and watch the little guys enjoy their second taste of zebra. By staying around, they give them confidence that there won't be a hyena or an intruder coming to try and take the kill. Definitely by the body language they are portraying, they expect visitors. They expect the rest of the pride to be here. It can be very interesting if they just turn up, from the left of the screen. I'm not jinxing anything, but it is possible for them to turn up, because I still see every now and then these two girls are raising their heads and looking to the left. But who am I to say anything? When it happens, it happens. Remember, this is life. It happened about 45 minutes ago. The lioness to the left made the kill. She did a good job. We can't see all the colors because what we're using, the IR gives you that kind of color. It's almost black and white, but it's better than having pure black and white or having me live here, because I don't have this kind of technology, this kind of lights. I'm actually very delighted for them to have made this kill quite close to where the cubs are, because the distances they've been covering recently have been enormous, and actually I've been sympathizing with them for traveling those distances. But today I'm very proud of these river lionesses for making this kill very close to where the cubs are. I'm still here. Let's see what is happening somewhere else.
It's always such a relief. I couldn't agree more with Isaac that, us as guides and naturalists, we follow these animals, day in and day out, and you understand how tough it is to be out here and how much they struggle sometimes. So when the cards fall in their favor like that, it's always just such a great feeling. These animals have decided to hunker down. We have a nice breezy southwesterly coming up now, and you can see from their cuddle position that they have decided that this is what they're going to do for the next bit. They'll more than likely stay here or somewhere nearby tonight to find a nice little comfy spot and just remain still through the night hours, and then early morning more than likely picking up from where they left off. They had that meal 2 days ago, so they're not terribly hungry, but that's the way of carnivores. So that hunger is going to push them tomorrow, and if they're not successful, the day after that. And that just pushes them harder and harder to finally reach success. Yes, we're talking about you. The tail wrapped up, all cuddled, just trying to save on body heat. With this wind now, we're taking quite a lot of body heat away. Damon, do you have king cheetahs in Tswalu? No, we don't have king cheetahs in Tswalu. And I'm not too sure if there's ever been a recording with cheetah in Tswalu. It's got a very healthy population. The genetics is very, very healthy, the gene pool itself. But I've never heard of a story of a king cheetah. I need to take a look back with people that have been here for a long time. And if I do come across that answer, if there has been, I'll be sure to let you know, Damon. It's always a striking animal to see. I've never seen one in my career. But that's that recessive gene that would be possessed by both individuals. And then if they possess that recessive gene, if they have cubs, 1 out of 3 or 4 cubs will potentially be a king cheetah. It's quite a remarkable thing to see. These guys are keeping body warmth. Just with that wind now, they'll be losing a lot of body heat, and so they're burning more fuel than they actually need to. So huddling up nice and close like this, keeping all your bits close to you, you're reserving and conserving that heat, where your body doesn't have to burn as much as it would. Wind factor in the windshield is a big thing. Oh, barking geckos. What a very beautiful afternoon we have here. We are so blessed as humans, and as guides we appreciate it so much, how lucky we are, to be out here in the mix of all of this. That one's just resting. Still keeping their wits about them. Oh, look at that. Very quick action. Reaction, sorry. So the last little bit of light, Cheetah are successful as it hits nightfall. And if anything had to pop up here, she would grab the opportunity. Beautiful. Sure. I'm definitely still taking reins. Yeah. Our folks from Tswalu, myself and Glenn, as well as all of our comrades across the continent, what they've done today, fantastic. It's been absolutely magical being able to share this with you. Please be sure to join us tomorrow for our sunrise safari. So from us and everybody else, a very, very good evening.
WildEarth is bringing the greatest wildlife spectacle on Earth to you live on this channel.
There's a lion right next to us. Lion kill live at the crossing. She's got it.
Travel the plains of Kenya's Masai Mara and watch the wildebeest migration unfold in real time.
One of the greatest wildlife wonders on Earth.
This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. My heart is absolutely pounding.
Tune in daily only on WildEarth. This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.